It helps if you can see us. GM Farcaster. It is Wednesday, November 13th, and you are here with Nounish Prof and Adrian for 29 minutes-ish of Farcaster News, plus an interview with Proxy. And I'm really excited about that. And I am tweeting this out because we are live now. Yes, tweeting. And then I'm also going to cast it out. But GM Adrian, how are you this morning? How are you doing?
I'm
Was
good
that a
doing.
hard question to start with?
I was not prepared.
I was like,
I
just
am
trying
not.
to ask you a question so I can cast some things.
I'm not prepared. Okay, so I am good. I have DevCon FOMO. It was fine
much.
on Monday morning when everyone was just casting about their 20-hour flights. But by Tuesday, when everyone is casting about how much fun they're having and so many pictures of people meeting IRL, the FOMO kicked in. You can see in our backgrounds all of our friends, and we're not there.
And we're not there, and I'm getting very, very sad.
And I might as well cry.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel very much the same. So the first half, so if you have FOMO as well, and you're not feeling it, you're not going to like this first segment. So we understand if you want to come back later. But it looks like an amazing time that they are having there. So this is, get in losers. We're going to DevCon is, I believe, the caption on this one. So if you're at DevCon, take a based tuk-tuk to home base. So they have these little tuk-tuks going around, picking you up, bringing you to home base. Base is for so that's why I'm sitting in the tuk-tuk with Jesse today. Best background ever. The Farcaster booth at FarCon looks amazing. It looks like it's been hopping all day. So much fun. And they had this play, you could take a picture, take a little Polaroid, put it up. It looks incredible. So this was from Ted. If you're at DevCon, come say hi at the Impact Space and get a Polaroid taken. If you're not at DevCon, follow Horsefax and me to say hi to new users like Jort user and returning users like Affle onboarding right here. So they've been onboarding people like crazy and having them post their photos. So you're seeing a lot of pictures all over the timeline. That's what this is. Happy to see, this is from Horsefax. Happy to see so many friends and new faces at DevCon today. We'll be back in the Impact Space all day tomorrow. Come say hello. So that was yesterday. I think that was today that they were doing that. And here's the booth. It looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. This was from Kagusha, group chat love. This is the higher group chat. IRL, it's great. Shout out to Ted and Samuel Huber and Robin for bringing the best energy in the community representation at DevCon. And this was from Riley Beans, who's been casting lots of fun things. And I think she's going to be writing this all up in EIC. Definitely a conference favorite booth. Both Lens and Farcaster booths consistently packed. We just want to know about the Farcaster one. Just kidding. I love this from Robin. Ted onboarding new users to Farcaster. Hope this dude signs up. For those who don't know, that's Vitalik.
Is that amazing?
I love this so much.
Dylan pulled that up on the hub yesterday. He hadn't seen it.
Oh my God. So good. So good. Vitalik is now on.
What do you think they're talking about?
I don't know. We need to get Ted on to give us like a rundown of all the fun things. Loved this from Justin on Hug by Icebreaker, CC DeWoofy. So proof of hug, essentially. We need proof of hug. There you go. So this is what's making me sad now. Burning through Polaroids at Farcaster Impact Space. Come say hi, sign up, and hang out with the FC community on the second floor. And pulled this one because Vitalik.eth took a Polaroid. So the Polaroid was up. And this was yay Farcaster Impact Space with Ted and at crypto.eth. And the reason I pulled this particular one is look in the background. I can't believe that Noun Space Tom is at DevCon and we're not in the booth.
What do you have against Noun Space Tom?
I have nothing against Noun Space Tom. I just can't believe that he's there and we're not. I mean, come on. What's really funny is Noun Space Tom did not come to Nounstown. Willy Wonka was there, but Noun Space Tom did not come. But yet he went all the way to Bangkok.
Well,
so funny.
I feel like he's not as bothered by the long flight.
Maybe not. That might be it. Yeah, you could be right.
Maybe you can buy a ticket in like the cargo space.
That could be it.
So maybe it's not as expensive for him to go either.
Or maybe he teleported. In other words, they created him there.
For those that don't know, Noun Space Tom is not a person.
Noun Space Tom is not a person. He is in the background here. He is actually that little cardboard cutout. But he does have an account on Farcaster and often does pretty well on here. This is the tabletop area. Playing tabletop with Justin and Emmanuel. Come check it out on the ground floor. And this was I Speak Nerd bringing the tabletop games to DevCon. And that's amazing. That made me sad. Here's Vitalik, again, chatting with Ted. Vitalik would like to know what it would take to get more Ethereum discussions on Farcaster. And I think I know the answer to this. He needs to start the discussions. Like anytime he casts on here, it's immediate, like, boom, everybody's in. So he just needs to, literally, if he posted questions, he'd have great discussions about Ethereum on here. So that would be my suggestion. Any other suggestions? Be the change, Vitalik, be the change.
Well, I would just flip it the other way. If you want Vitalik even more, then start the discussions.
You can try that too. There you go. That's a good point. That's a good point. I already showed you that one. This from Lamone. And this is the Farcaster meetup happening, I think, right now. Like as we are talking, this is happening here. Just to make you feel even worse. Right now.
It doesn't even look fun.
No, it doesn't look fun at all. We don't know all those people in that room at all. No. Nope, looks awful. Hope you're having an awful time. Just kidding. This from Aviation Doctor. My financial advisor, please rate your investment risk appetite from a scale of 1 to 5 before buying this index fund. Me watching my life savings dance on stage. And this is okay. And I'm not going to play the audio on this, but you'll get the idea. Yes, that is Vitalik on the stage. And this is a common thing that happens at Ethereum events. So no one should be surprised by this at all. Like this happens. And if you don't like the cringe, go somewhere where there's a less nerdy space. I don't know what to tell you, but lean into the cringe. What's wrong with the cringe?
I totally agree.
It's fun. Just relax, people. But this, and I'm not saying that Aviation Doctor was making that comment, but I saw a couple other people making comments about that it was cringe. I'm like, who cares? Who cares if it's cringe? Are you having fun with your Bitcoin and your crypto and everything else you're playing with? I think you are. So that's what's important. Maybe this will come up sometime. Come on, load for me. It's going to be that kind of day. I forgot to log out. Okay, let's try this one.
What was that?
Yeah, it just wouldn't load. Yeah, it just wouldn't load. This from the base team, in addition to bringing the Tuk Tuks, are bringing you to home base at DevCon, and this is home base at DevCon. Also looks awful, and nobody's having fun at all. We're not bitter. We're not having any FOMO. Everything's fine. I feel very happy today. I love this too. This is really cool. Just some of the incredible base team here at DevCon. Yeah. Hi, friends. W. Benz is there. W. Benz is there. I want to meet
all of our best friends are there.
Yeah. And that really cute guy, Tom. Like, well, guys, what do you want from me? Packed house for based Southeast Asia meetup. Huge turnout for their meetup event. Incredible. looking amazing. And can we just say that the base marketing team is killing it? Like, for real, looks incredible. The events team, I should say. And one last thing from DevCon, and this is base at DevCon, home base, a real live MoshiCam booth, just to make it even worse. So there you go. So there you go.
There we did it. 10 minutes of DevCon FOMO.
We made it through, and I have so much it's just awful. So I was the same as you. I was totally fine, all good, don't care. And then yesterday I hit full on, oh my God, why didn't I go? It took until yesterday when I just was like, I'm so sad right now. I just want to be with my friends wherever they are. So anyway,
the answer is Bangkok. They are in Bangkok for DevCon, if you want to know where they are. And
that's where they are. And they're having a lot of fun. Which I'm glad you're having fun. But also I just wish I was there with you. But also I do think that the Farcon booth looked amazing. I think they did a great job. I'm really glad that they have a presence there. I think for some of these, I think for most of the conferences, I agree with, we don't need a presence, all good. But the Ethereum heavy ones like DevCon, like ETHCC, like, maybe Ethereum, ETH Denver, those things probably do need a bit of more of a Farcaster presence. So glad to see it. Very glad to see it.
Yes. And our friends have a point. Some of us are not there. We are here together, having fun.
Okay.
Talking about
are we having fun?
Farcaster news. Yeah.
We're having fun. And we have Proxy with us in a little bit. So that I am very excited about. We should probably remind him. Anyway, a few other things. Yeah, no, just kidding. A few other things.
Yeah, poor Proxy's going to show up. We're doing like crowd warm up. We're just making everyone like super depressed.
We're going to make you so sad. And then we're going to bring you back to happy places. On the upside, here's where we get into the happy news. Crypto is freaking pumping. So this is from Murtaza. Congratulations to all holders of cryptocurrency. Not sure if there's anyone on here who holds cryptocurrency, but if there is, you should check on your assets as prices have appear to have increased. So thank you for this PSA from Murtaza. And this from links in response to this post of mine. XBF in my DMs today, should I buy Doge? Very, very true. It actually happened. And this was from links. My response when anyone ever asked, do you think I should buy crypto? Absolutely, I do. So there you go. And this was super cute. How are we feeling? I think this is accurate. Our bags are pumping and we're happy about that part. DGen is having a great week. I'll say that. This from Toady Hawk, live footage of us putting the finishing touches on crypto UX and cross-chain interoperability as normies start to flood in. I don't know if normies are flooding in per se. Like, I don't feel like
they're trickling in.
I think that there's some normie movement via the ETFs, and I think that has absolutely increased, and we've seen the inflows and all that stuff. But I don't think there's that much. There's a few. There's definitely some, but they've been lurking already. Like, again, the ex-boyfriend was already lurking. I already onboarded him years ago. He's just now like actually, digging in a little more. So there you go. So there's some of them coming in. Normies aren't here until DGen is at $1. I agree. Links. This is true.
Except Toadie's meme. I've never seen that little video before. I don't know if that's like a common one, but it's a great one. It's like someone laying train tracks down in front of the train while they're on a moving train.
Yes.
That's like,
But you'll notice this is the Noggled version. So
of course it is.
Of course it is. For those who don't know, There is a whole host of Noggle-fied GIFs, and this is something we actually funded somebody to do, was to create high quality GIFs with Noggles on them. So should you be looking for a GIF, you might as well find the one with the nouns glasses on them and just search it. Just search nouns DAO and you'll usually find it. So there you go. Just, little information. This was exciting news. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but this from Doodles. And if you're not aware of what this is a very quick thing they dropped on Twitter. And then I just pulled it over here. This is a collab with McDonald's. So Doodles and McDonald's are dropping a collab on the 18th. And this is super exciting. Don't exactly know what it is, but very exciting to see. So that sent Doodles
really
pumping
cool.
through the roof.
For those that don't know, do you want to tell people what McDonald's is?
It's the place everybody goes to work when their crypto goes to zero.
Cool.
It's the actual definition of what McDonald's is. But this is super exciting. So here's the funniest thing. I love the Doodles team, have thought about buying a Doodle forever. And I periodically will go look. So 2 days ago, I went and looked again at OpenSea and I was like, oh, this one is really cute. It's on the floor. This finally might be the time. I bought it. The next day they announced the McDonald's collab. Now, I'm not saying that I am the impetus for the rise in floor price, but I, for the first time ever, timed it correctly. Like amazing. But of course, I'm never selling that Doodle anyway. So, but it was very exciting. So that was a lot of fun. So great to see. Congrats to the Doodles team. They've been doing amazing things in building in this bear, and now they're ready to go full escape velocity. So look out for Doodles. Look out for Pudgy Penguins. Both of them are going to be amazing in the next couple of years. This from Horse
Is that
Facts.
on Prof? Is that on mainnet? Did you buy? Is that a mainnet?
Mainnet.
NFT?
Yeah, that's a mainnet. This is old school.
Look at that. Yeah.
Mainnet. So yeah, there was no. This is from. They dropped in 2021, I think fall sometime. So there was no L2s. This is way before base.
I saw a few people post recently, oh, I bought something on mainnet.
I know. Yeah. I've seen that too. I've been periodically throughout the bear picking up the OG NFTs here and there. So I grabbed a cool cat a couple months ago. I grabbed a dead fella about a year ago. All these things that when they finally the prices came down, I finally could grab some of those. So this was the last one that I'd really been looking at for a while that I hadn't picked up yet. So finally kind of completed my collection of 2021 NFTs. So very exciting. And this from Horse
Do you remember
Facts,
what your gas? Do you remember what you paid in gas
for this?
it
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was nothing because all the L1 gas has come down because of the L2s. So it's nothing right now. And I've seen that change. So I'm on L1 a lot. I do a lot of transactions on L1 because I vote on L1 for nouns and little nouns. I think that's it right now. But I see the gas, and it's been nothing for a while, since not too long after base launched. Every once in a while, there'll be something crazy happening and it's usually a meme coin that's on mainnet. And then you'll see that crazy gas spike, but it's been pretty tame for quite a bit. So yeah. And Yoink. This is exciting. So new Yoink when you notice the frame, the game's not the same. Now the flag is on chain when you yoink it. So let's see what happens. Let's see if I can get this to work. Oh, Fatty But Happy has the flag. I'm going to yoink it.
Fatty But Happy stole it from me. I yoinked this morning.
All right, let's see if I can do this. See if I can yoink.
Type in your seed phrase.
Okay, I'm not going to do this. I didn't realize
we
my,
just
my wallet wasn't open, so I'm not doing that. Just in case. Not that you could see. But somebody go yoink the flag from Fatty But Happy. That's really fun. So it's now on chain, and that's exciting. That's very exciting. So I know that Horsefax, a lot of the times when he's doing some things with Yoink, it's to test other things that they're putting together in the background, right? Yoink is really a test frame and test environment, if you will, to demo things that are changing. So I assume they're working on some in-frame transaction stuff as well, which is fun.
Stop trying to take the fun out of Yoink. Yoink is just it's just perfection. It's just a game on its own.
Completely perfection, by the way.
And I think you're totally right.
Yeah. And it will again be okay. So little alpha. Well, we're waiting for. I have a couple more things, and then we're gonna jump to Proxy when he gets here. But a little alpha. The plan is to rerun Cast Out in December, like starting the second week of December. Yoink will definitely be the first game again, no question. They don't know I'm Yoink. So
yes,
if you're not familiar with Yoink and you want you're thinking you might want to play Cast Out, you might want to get Yoinking just so you understand what's what. And if you don't know what Cast Out is, that's a whole other thing. You'll have to go look that up. It's a fun little survivor-like game. It's going to be fun. So, by the way, thanks for the vote. Oh, nice.
Yes, the crypto.
Hey,
yeah,
yes, Noggles. Hey. Yeah. My nouns vote yesterday was $20. Ooh, it went way up. Wow. I hadn't noticed that. I don't think mine was that high. I'll have to go back and look. But we also refund gas on votes on nouns for nouns. So that's probably why I don't notice as much. But hey, Precious Noggles, good luck. You're welcome for the vote, and hopefully I haven't looked to see how it's doing, but hopefully it goes through. Precious Noggles, by the way, creates glasses with recycled plastic. So all these noggles that they create are made from recycled plastic. And it's also, they also have a 3D printed thing that you can go do and create them yourself. They've created, like, they put everything out open source. So very cool. And they were actually creating them live at Nounstown, and people could like pick their colors, and they were actually doing that in the live in the makerspace. So just very cool. And they want to now fund some glasses for actual glasses for kids in Brazil, underprivileged in Brazil. So there you go. So that's everything I wasn't planning to talk about, but there you go. Amazing. Off the top of my head. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I love Mary. Mary's been amazing in building this for the past couple of years. So for those who aren't familiar with Survivor, if you don't know what that is, go Google it. Just go Google it.
Or DM links, and he will gladly give you all sorts of Survivor lore.
This in the only thing we're going to talk about that's politically related note. It's happening. Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon and Vivek. So a lot of people seem surprised by this announcement. So clearly you weren't paying attention to the campaign at all, because this was like already discussed. And I was surprised at how many people were surprised. Like, it was like, that was a little shocking because this was not unexpected. And I think the funniest thing about this really is that it's the Department of Governmental Efficiency, and there's two people leading it. I do think that's a little amusing. It doesn't seem efficient.
It's two people. Okay, first of all, Elon has like 12 other full-time jobs. So
it's not even going to be him. It's fine. They need to share it.
I saw someone make the joke about the two people, and I was like, clever. And then I saw like 100 other people make the same joke, and now I don't think it's funny anymore.
It's not. I know. Okay. It was the first thing I thought of, though, when I saw it. I was like, that's interesting. But I do think, two people in ChatGPT. Exactly. Yeah, you don't even need the two. Just ChatGPT. We just have the bots do it. I do, by the way, I do think the effort itself is a great idea and desperately needed. We'll see what the result of it is, but I do think it's a good idea. And also, it's pumping Doge like crazy. That's one of the reasons Doge started going up during the campaign, was because they kept talking about it. So, yeah. But some people missed that. They completely missed that. This was from Dan in relation. Frames are decentralized open graph ecosystem. Doge. So that was a little Dan joke for you.
That's that's a good one. I went on ChatGPT afterwards and asked it to give me other acronyms that Doge could stand for. And
what'd you get? Anything good?
I mean, clearly I didn't cast any of them, so no.
So
nothing great. There was I'd say it gave me about 10. 1 was mildly funny. 9 were stupid.
That's funny. Yeah, I thought Dan's was pretty good. I will agree. Just checking in to see if Proxy's on his way. Just use the link. Ready when you are.
Dramatic overreaction to governmental earmarks. Dungeons overrun by goblin engineers. Donuts over garlic eclairs.
Okay, that one's a big stretch.
The best I got, I think, was dedicated order of great eccentricities. That felt.
I don't even know what that would do, but okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Dangerous optimists goading extinction. That actually seems to, when you think about it.
Okay.
Have some context.
It's a little bit of EACC kind of thing. Nice.
But nothing
exciting. Okay. One more note. This from Varun, an update on protocol priorities going into 2025. We think a lot of interesting things are going to be built on chain soon. Farcaster should be the programmable, incredibly neutral social network that brings users, developers, and blockchains together. But what does this mean tangibly? 1, frames will help devs bootstrap new ideas. I'm going to just go through the top level here. 2, Snapchain will make it easier to build apps and infra. 3, smart wallet support for Farcaster accounts. That's huge. 4, better standards for developers. 5, retroactive developer grants. So developers building useful things and rewarding them for that. I'd like to add something to 5. I don't know if you would also. Maybe retroactive other kinds of grants, but whatever.
Yes, it's a yes and. We love retroactive developer grants.
And yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do. Is it on this cast where he said like reward people that otherwise wouldn't be building for lack of funding?
Yeah.
So I just want to put it out there that I have so many great ideas, except lack of funding, something.
Lots of good ideas.
Hey, I'm still building my AI bot. I worked on that yesterday.
This is very exciting. Yeah, we have to hold that thought. I'm going to circle back to that. Smart wallet support for Farcaster accounts, I think, is really interesting because you already have it pretty easy to set up with the built-in wallet. So what I'm guessing is that could make this a little bit more Lindy if you had the smart wallet built in instead. But we'll see. But that sounded really, really interesting. Okay. Anything? One more thing. So, Adrienne, tell us about your AI experiments, and then we're going to bring Proxy up.
Well, go download the hub from yesterday, and I talked about it then, which is Dilstek's new developer-focused Farcaster podcast. No, just at a super high level, and I'm trying to create an AI bot that is trained on GM Farcaster content that you can converse with on the timeline to learn all about Farcaster lore and news and Farcaster history. So we'll see how that goes. By the way, just pulling this up, the best Doge acronym is clearly your daily onslaught of GM enjoyment. So
perfect.
thank you.
There we go. That's it. We have a winner. We have a winner.
Government efficiency is cool, but have you tried GM enjoyment?
Have you though? I mean, really, it's really what it's about. Love that. Love that. Okay, so we're gonna bring up Proxy, who's now here. So welcome, Proxy. Proxy is Anon. So yeah, welcome. Well, Proxy, how are you? Maybe. Oh, we can't hear you. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
Maybe
Proxy will come back.
Proxy will come back. So in the meantime, while we get Proxy
Or maybe
back in.
Clanker. Maybe that was Clanker, not Proxy.
Oh, it might have been Clanker. Yeah, maybe Clanker was not quite ready. Let's just kind of tee this up a little bit for those who may not know. Clanker is weary. It's very weary. Who may not know what's been going on with Proxy and Clanker. So Clanker is a bot that has been enabled to launch tokens. And we showed this the other day, and it was pretty amazing. And okay, it looks like we've got Proxy back here. Let's see. Are you there? Hello, Proxy.
GM.
There you
How's
are.
it going?
Hello. And you know what? I should have known your audio was off because we didn't get the little beep when you came in the first time.
I'm sorry,
so,
my
yeah,
Wi-Fi has been horrible.
Well, we're glad you're here and you made it. So we were just kind of teeing you up here a little bit. But it's better if it comes from you. So why don't you give us a quick intro as to who you are for those who may not know and what Clanker is?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good
My
morning.
name is Alex. I founded Proxy Studio on Farcaster in February, and I've been working in the ecosystem ever since. And last week on Friday, Dish, Jack Dishman and I shipped Clanker, a agent for autonomous meme coins, and it's been really fun. We've had a lot of fun since then.
And it's been popping off like crazy. So just wanted to share a couple casts in regards to Clanker. So this one was Jack and I are scoping out our roadmap for Clanker. A few of our biggest goals are help token creators, bootstrap community on Farcaster, channel GC integration and other protocols, improve discovery for trending clankers, bringing swaps into the client, and rewards. This weekend, we added at least 12 months to our runway. Lots of work to do, that's amazing. We've seen like the top tokens right now on base are coming from Clanker. I think if I look, last time I looked, this was late yesterday. Lum, I think we call it Lum, might be Loom. Lum was number one. Trending.
We've had a couple that have really taken off. One thing that this whole experience has reminded me, not about like Clanker, but about Farcaster, is how users on Farcaster are really like deep in the trenches in terms of being active on chain. So if something cool is happening, whether it be something like DGen or FriendPet, these projects that now have become super established, people here are doing them first. Traders on Twitter find out, later. And I love that. I love making Twitter late.
I think we all love that. It's like I feel the same way. I loved seeing people like shouting out Lum and Clanker after like we were already in. I was like, yes, that's so exciting.
I want to bring those people here. And I think that this is like every time I see Lum or Clanker or whatever token like go up a lot, I'm just like, that's a billboard for Farcaster. And many thoughts on tokens and speculation, but in the end, that's my vibe. I just want number to go up. I want us to all win. I think we can win together. And yeah, it's been a really fun week.
So fun. I agree. Like, I think it's, I think we've seen this dichotomy or this like sort of a little bit of friction, I guess is a better word, between people who are, deep building and don't necessarily like the speculative nature of coins, and then others who are all in on coins. And then there's this like middle ground of like, this is useful. This can also bring attention and drive attention, but sometimes it overtakes things and it feels a little off. So what kind of pushback have you been getting, and like, how are you responding to some of that?
You know, Dish and I didn't build this like thinking that anyone would care. We wanted to validate our thesis, so we didn't know, first of all. So all of this has come as a wonderful, exciting surprise for us, and that, you know, means adjusting. But another just like huge deal is that we're a bootstrap team. So our only funding prior to this came from DGen DAO, the haberdashery, and you know, some DGen tips, and Hypersub has been a huge deal for me personally, getting funding from Hypersub. I know you guys, you know, are supported also by Hypersub. And so, you know, I care about Farcaster. Like I don't think that my vision is not to turn Farcaster into pumped up fun, but I do think that people need to be a little bit realistic about the space we build in and our work in. Unless you just want every, you know, hungry dev to leave. And I actually want lots of hungry devs to come here. You know, Dish is like, this guy I'm working with is such a quiet, mild-mannered, I almost think he's like a Farcaster nerd, and I am too. Like, we love Farcaster for Farcaster. Yeah, I have some token boy in me too, but like the vibe is not like, we don't want to take over the feed with like token slop. So hopefully we can find, you know, ways to balance that kind of speculative growth and the cozy corners that we're in right now, talking to each other, you know.
I love that.
We love Farcaster nerds too.
Yeah, that's kind of our jam.
We identify as Farcaster nerd. Proxy, you were saying that you didn't expect it to take off. You were testing your thesis. What was your thesis?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
If you can talk about
it. My thesis is that trading is going to move to the social layer. So it's pretty simple, really. It's just that, like, you know, with DGen, we saw tips. So that's distribution, right? We've seen transaction frames, which feels like a step in the right direction. But I really believe that when someone goes to create a token and they're going like onto some random app, that's the wrong flow for a user. They're talking about tokens on social. They are discovering them there. It just feels natural that pretty soon we're going to have the capabilities, and, you know, honestly, we seem to today to deploy and swap tokens right in the feed in some way.
I totally agree. I think that also things like interface have added another layer to that, where you're seeing your social graph and what they're doing and getting alerts about that. And then you can go in and copy trade if you want now, and even comment on that. But even just seeing when things are trending and like, oh, they're in, I even saw this with different NFTs as well. It's not necessarily to just tokens, but you'd see them and you go, oh, what's that? Oh, let me go check that out. I didn't realize all my friends are, you know, minting this thing or whatever. So I think it's definitely easier within the Farcaster social graph to see those connections, and it makes a lot of sense. I do have a question though. So can you only launch a token on Clanker on Farcaster using the prompts, or can you go to the clanker.world and do it? And I haven't checked that out. I'm not sure.
You cannot. No, it's
okay.
Our product only lives in the feed. I wanted to say about interface. I think this whole like week I've been super blown away by the work the interface has done. And, you know, there are a couple other teams that are shipping really high quality products in this space. One I want to shout out is Cast Money, which is another really Farcaster native team, and Div and Srijan they're shipping. And I think this whole idea that like we have social capital, right? Adrienne, Nounish Prof, you both have a lot of social capital. How you use that, and how kind of I am able to follow you on chain is super significant, and we'll continue to see people building around that. And I hope that it can become super seamless, because that just like shows what Warpcast is great, or Farcaster is great at, in a really simple way.
You know, it was interesting. I was just thinking about this. You had picked up on that I had done a sale of something, and then you had kind of shouted it out and said, oh, now I see why. Now I connected it to this cast and I see what happened here. And and it was interesting to like watch that kind of play out, where I think you pulled it. I think you saw it on Interface, and you're like, oh, that's a big, that's a big sell. What's going on? And then so it is kind of when you can get the context of a trade, I think it's really helpful. Especially like, by the way, again, NFA, never copy trade me ever, because I am not a logical trader. Like a lot of times mine is emotionally connected. So don't do that.
I think very few people, I copy trade 3 traders right now actively. There are a couple more that I follow, but those are the 3 that I'm like, oh, if I see you, I'm buying. I also don't really have as much time to trade right now, but
it's a nice shortcut. It's a nice shortcut to be able to do that. Yeah.
Everyone's looking for a shortcut. So what I thought was interesting, when you sold an unnamed Farcaster token, no need to drag them into this, but you wrote at length about why, right? And that act was entirely disconnected from the swap. And so I like put those pieces together. I'm sure other people did too, but those are inherently linked actions. They're actions that prompt other on-chain actions. They have consequences. And so I love the tools and people who are thinking about how to bring them together. And Clanker is just like a first little step in that direction for us.
I think for, some things that I have seen in some spaces, but I would love to see more of, and I think like Interface is starting to lean into this with the comments when you copy trade, is that kind of way to signal the why you're doing something. And sometimes that's helpful to other people to understand, because you may not have the full background, or you may not have the time to go research it on chain. It may all be public and available, but you may not want to take the time to go figure it out. So it helps to be able to signal, this is why I'm doing this on-chain action, especially for people who are a little bit more well-known within whatever space they're in. And I've thought about this from the DAO perspective of bidding with reason. And that's one of the things that I'm hoping that we can build into Nouns Builder for Purple, for example. Like if you're bidding on a Purple token, being able to say, oh, I met so-and-so, I met Ted at DevCon, and now I want to join Purple. Like that would be an important piece of information, because then we can be like, okay, this IRL action led to this on-chain action, and we should do more of that, and be able to kind of connect those dots. So same thing with tokens is super helpful to know like why people are doing what they're doing, I think. So
I totally agree. And, I think one thing that I used to post about is I used to tell people, don't copy trade me. I'm doing so much random stuff on chain, like minting everything that a Farcaster builder is putting out to support them. Like it's not all financially motivated. Some of it's just part of being kind of like in the industry on chain. I think that one thing that I'm super excited about, I heard you all talking about this, is B's latest update for where the protocol is going. And I think what gets me most gassed is like the Coinbase smart wallet, not just Coinbase, but smart wallet integration, and how they're thinking about pushing swaps in the feed. And then I also, on the flip side, when we think about like, how do we, bring in more speculative activity and maintain a culture that is open, accessible, different, the funding for teams that are not necessarily like making money is incredibly fucking important. And I don't know, I've done like my own very little small scale, like here's 0.1 ETH for your podcast thing. And it's that is not scalable. So I'm excited to hear that we'll have more of it. But
yeah, I agree. I love that.
Swaps are coming, and we need to define like what a social swap looks like what social context is relevant for you, for me. And they'll likely be different for each user.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to signal, hey, I'm doing this because I'm supporting somebody. Don't, DYOR. Like, don't, like, it may not be, if you're doing it strictly just to make money, this may not be the trade for you. And I think that's, important context so that people I don't want anyone getting wrecked. I really don't. Like, I think it's bad. It's bad for the person. It's bad for the industry. Like, it's not just, it's not just PvP. Like, I don't, necessarily need people to get wrecked for me to win. And I think that's super important. And I think there's other people that feel differently. So
I mean, I think let me be very frank. Like, people are going to get wrecked, and they actually may get wrecked just from watching your incredibly positive sum podcast, because that is where we work in a very speculative industry, and you all are covering, emerging events, like doing the Lord's work in my mind of keeping us up to date, of trying to keep pace with everything. And so any trader who's in crypto needs to learn that lesson of don't go full stack, don't bid everything, learn those limits. And I hope that people don't come at you for their copy trades. That's all I'll say. Downish.
Don't do it. Hey, they've been fully warned. I've got this everywhere of like, I am not somebody to copy trade. Although Meta David, I agree. You should have copy traded my dude, but there was no way to know that. That was just random luck, lucky timing. That's all. But
a lot of people in crypto over-index their own skill and under-index the importance of being lucky.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So much of it is luck, and sometimes it's the result of being in the right place or just sticking around long enough. Like, I think we could look back at DGen and the first airdrop and be like, okay, we were here building, we were here when nobody else was. We got a little additional reward for doing that. But it's also luck because, Jacek decided to make that choice. And then a whole bunch of other things had to happen for that to all work out the way it's worked out. So it's not, it's very rarely full on skill. There's always
DGen airdrop was before my time, so I can't speak to it. But I agree with you in general. I think there's obviously a lot of skill involved in trading at certain levels, but like when we're talking about an asset that goes from $2,000 market cap to $25 million market cap in a week, like really the best thing you could do is just buy a little bit and forget about it, right? And not take any action. Like, don't trade. People, so
it can go both ways. I think it's one or the other, really. You either have to be somebody who is just staring at charts all day and trying to time it right for selling and all that, or you make your best guesses, buy and forget it for a while and then circle back. But it's very hard to play this, and it takes a lot of losing to figure out the best way to approach some of these things. So it's not easy, and a lot of times you're gonna lose. So yes, Clanker is an AI. So let's circle back to Clanker and explain how it's
for people
working.
Just joining. I was like, for people just joining, yes, Proxy is here. Proxy is not an AI. Proxy is a person
Clanker
we
is.
believe. Clanker is the AI that that came out of Proxy Studio.
And also, just before we jump into that, Yes to Crypto is a huge Chad. We agree.
I think Yes to Crypto is like the biggest supporter of everyone on Farcaster.
Completely. Like there's not even a close second. Like I don't care what you're doing on Farcaster right now. Yes to Crypto is probably leading your leaderboard. Like
I love that so much.
So amazing.
I love it. Sorry to interrupt, Audrey.
No, we had to do that shout out.
We were going to go back to Clanker, but before we do, Proxy, I wanted to ask you, you said you joined Farcaster in February, so it was kind of after DGen. You joined Anon. Were you on Farcaster not Anon, or was it, I'm just curious if that was like your very first Farcaster experience.
No comment on my other accounts that may or may not exist. But
so just so you know, no comment is a comment.
I know.
Because we're real journalists.
Yeah. The journos.
I love
I'm getting my research team on that. We respect Anon. I just want that to be clear. So I don't. I'm not trying to.
I'll say this on the record. I don't have a doxed account on Farcaster.
Okay.
I really the first thing that got me to pay attention meaningfully was DGen, and it was number going up. It was not the cool parts of it that I would later learn. It was just seeing the ticker and wondering where did that come from. I didn't see people on Twitter talking about it like they usually do, or I didn't see people on Telegram, and then I started seeing it and I wanted to know. I hate not knowing, hate not understanding. So
I love that.
The worst. So you have to learn, and then I went and found out, and I said, oh man, this is actually really interesting. To be completely just like 100% honest, I always thought Farcaster was kind of cringe because Dan kept it gated because he made you DM him. And I just like didn't care because of that, and I totally ignored it. And then I started hearing buzz, and I thought, okay, well, I do think that it should be open, but it seems like that's coming, one day. And then it did, and I joined, and I really paid attention after DGen.
So I mean, I think there's many such cases of that where we got some amazing folks who came for the coin, stayed for the community. We say that a lot. Yes to Crypto being one of them. So
many such cases. Shout out long form content, because I think that's an interesting of like, you hear one thing and you make a judgment, and then it's like, then once you learn actually, and you kind of peel back and learn people's intentions. I think I don't know if it was podcasts, but it was like, I remember like just early on hearing Dan talk at length, I think.
Probably
seeing things he read.
I'm totally with you. So one thing I actually really like about Dan is that Dan and I like disagree on a bunch of stuff, but I really respect him. He is like an incredibly sharp thinker about all this, and the stuff we disagree on is meaningful, and that's actually what matters. That's what keeps me interested and engaged. If Dan was like I don't know, a founder who I just thought was kind of like trying to sell me on something, there's so many of those. But Dan is thinking about these hard questions very seriously. He's trying to growing a social network is like the hardest thing ever. I always felt one thing I liked about Dan is that he engaged with my content, but he didn't like, when I started getting some attention and success, it's like he kind of waited to see if I was going to stick around. I could just like get that vibe. Not that he gives that much of a shit about me and individually, but like that was the vibe I got from a lot of the Farcaster OGs, is that I had to come in and like not only put in some good posts for a month, I had to do that for 6 months.
I know exactly what Adrian is typing right now. Farcaster requires proof of work. I knew it.
Many such cases.
It's true, and I think it is one of the reasons that we've had it's one of the reasons we have great people, and it's a reason we've struggled with retention. Because these are two sides of the same coin. And everybody
wants to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah. Ain't nobody want to lift no heavy weights. Yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, very early on, I was able to monetize the audience that I built. I was able to get a huge amount of trust from them with what I would do with those funds. I basically said, I'm going to build and buy on Farcaster, and they loved it. They wanted me to do it. And that is very unique.
Do you have any subs open in your hyper sub, by the way? Or are you still locked? Is everybody still locked in? I've been trying to get in for like a year now. Whatever.
I don't.
Months. Yeah.
I haven't looked at the secondary market for Proxy Studio subs in a long time. Things are in flux right now. I actually just announced to one of our perks for Hypersub was a token gated party fund that I was kind of operating and we were trading out of. And I announced that I can no longer, operate that fund. It has, over 200K in it. And I just said basically that, I got a little taste of product market fit. We'll want to chase that a lot farther. And I also think that running a fund and being a token launchpad is kind of a conflict of just different interest at play. And so that's one thing I'm changing, right? And that's like taking away a benefit. That's why I love Hypersub. It's so flexible. But long story short, there are subs around. I think, GM Farcaster is exactly the kind of org I would love to get a sub into your guys' hands.
Yeah, I totally have been wanting one. We do.
You guys have
GM Farcaster, GM is our company wallet, if you will. Yeah. Yep, we do. We'd love that. And I appreciate, Art Lou's in the chat, and he mentioned Proxy being an early supporter. So just like we're shouting out Yes to Crypto of his support of literally everybody, you've done very much the same, where you've been supportive of all different media things, shouting people out all the time. It means a lot because you've done that with us, and that means a lot to see people notice what you're doing, because you usually you write pretty in depth about like why you think this or that is good for one reason or another, and I think that's super helpful. I love that. I love when you do this.
I love supporting you all. I think like one thing I learned very early on in life is that people love being recognized. Yeah. And that like there's very, very rarely a good reason not to like share those feelings if you have them. So that's just kind of something that I like will always do, is shout people out, building the space in a way I respect.
We always do our shout outs, and early on I was afraid people weren't going to like me tagging them, and then I figured out very quickly that was not the case, that they do appreciate being tagged on that. I'm sure that Dan could, doesn't care. So I usually leave him at the end.
Every time Dan is like, when you tag someone, it's a tax on their time. We're like, tag.
Yeah,
tag. I'm like, can I have more tags, please? 10 is not enough.
The one time when Dan lost his username and turned into Bang3, which is FID, we were searching him and we couldn't search him by his, and I was like, oh, I guess he blocked us finally because we tagged him too much.
Yeah. I totally thought I got blocked. Everybody, many people did. They're like, oh my God, what did I do?
Proxy,
that's such founder mindset, not a poster mindset. Sorry, Dan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Adrian.
I just love what we're talking about. It's like the most Farcaster thing I've heard of, and something we talk about a lot on our show, which is just like the permissionless nature. And people come in and really look to Merkle for help and for answers and to solve problems. And it's just such proof that you don't need Merkle's permission. You don't need their funds. We look at them and it's like, oh, you raised so much money. Just how are you going to distribute it? It's like there is an entire ecosystem you can raise on your own. There is like, and maybe not at the same level, but what are you going to do? Like we are, as GM Farcaster, we are raising funds. We have sponsors. We have, I mean, not venture fund, but we have sponsors. We have Hypersub. We have people like, we've done NFT sales. Like there's, and I think it's so nice to see Proxy. We've done rounds.
Grants from DAOs. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So,
Purple. Yeah. All of those things.
I have like a lot to say on this, but I won't bore everyone here. Just first of all, like get over yourself a little bit. Merkle doesn't owe you anything, and they raise a lot of money. They're going to use it as they will. I raised actually a very meaningful amount of money from Hypersub. I think it was like 16 to 20 ETH, something within that range. I'd have to check my data, but that was enough to not just like do some of what I wanted, but I started hiring devs. I started paying devs to write code and write smart contracts. I started paying for services that I needed. I started subscribing to Nanar and Supabase and all these different things you need to build product. And that directly led, like there's a straight line from that to deploying Clanker, which, for full context, like Jack and I are talking about like, okay, like our next steps, like, are we going to raise? Are we not going to raise? And frankly, we're in a very strong position. Like we've given ourselves runway just from what we've earned. Our costs are low. Like I posted about this.
Stay lean.
Stay lean. We're paying ourselves like early career teachers right now. Not being greedy, but also just like you can come here and immediately get funding and get to work. You just need to like, it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy.
And this is the cast that you were talking about that I just pulled on the screen. And this was something that you posted yesterday. Have seen a few accusations about Clanker on here and X. Typical stuff, but thought I'd say this just for the record. The goal is not to make a big bag overnight and run. We just built something that gives us 12 months of runway, paying 2 5K month salaries with room to cover service costs and bring in resources we may need. That's a 60K year for both of us, no benefits. We're ecstatic to earn early career teacher money. We want to build on and grow with Farcaster. Now we can. And I think that actually speaks to a lot of people who are in this space who are like, we just need enough to keep building the thing we really love building for right now. Like, this is going to take a little while. So we can slowly, move in that direction. We're not, no one's trying to scam anybody out of, millions of dollars overnight just to, whatever, FAFO.
Yeah. I think like we have seen a few projects come into this space. What's that? There's one game that launched like the height of the kind of spring bull run. And I was a little skeptical of them. I don't know, like, if they rugged, if it was just like I'm forgetting the name, but frankly, I actually don't know. Like, I don't know if it was a rug. And there's so many kinds of rugs. There's like the slow rug, the, kind of, the
accidental rug. We ran out of money rug. Yeah. All those things.
And for them, I just felt like they had basically repackaged an old game they built for another ecosystem. They dropped it here. It was the right timing. I don't blame people really for taking advantage of stuff like that. I just think it's kind of corny and cringe, and you can go so much higher and without doing that. So, listen, I also understand that like money is a very real motivator. Every one of my users, if they're not like laughing a lot, they're motivated by financial gain. And so we should respect that. Like, of course, that side of the speculative.
Nobody's like wanting to do something and lose money, like on purpose. Like, although it's a reality and it's probably going to happen, but it's not like the goal when you go out.
I've been like paying. I paid a lot of admin people for Proxy Studio, our Hypersub, and there was a point when the market was down really bad. It was kind of like, I don't know, August, and I realized, damn, I took this money that I made early, and I kind of spent a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
I felt like a sense of nervousness, and there were a couple of weeks I think it kind of infected my thinking, and then I shook loose of that vibe and found the building vibe again. And you know, yeah, no one likes to lose money, builders included. But you have to have a long vision. You can't be too wrapped up in this instant return thing, because it just won't lead to like good work. You won't build a better product. It will make your product probably sloppy and like, I don't know.
It won't be sustainable, like, because eventually we have a really short attention span. So things pop and go, and I mean, and it's fast, really fast. And so if you're building something that you want to last in a more sustainable way, you do have to probably move a little slower. And one of the things I like that you've been doing is taking Clanker offline. And I think that's super helpful. Like, I like that it's been a little more limited, because it's also super overwhelming when you have constant flow of new tokens. It's like, oh my God, I can't keep up on things. It's almost too much. So I love that.
Oh my God.
I think it's been helpful.
It's actually something I've learned, I feel like, from Clanker that I would never have learned from an app. I've done some like building web apps, of, mobile apps. And in my experience, an app going down, a project going down is like crisis. That's worst case scenario. Yeah. Whereas with Clanker, shutting that Clanker off has been awesome. Gives us a great amount of control. We get to kind of review in isolation very specific product upgrades. When there's obviously reasons not to. We integrated these like WoW coins as another option the other day, and we were talking to Jacob, and he was like, "Why did you turn Clanker off?" And he said, "You're missing all of this like Asia market volume." And I listen, I get it. From me and Dish's perspective, we have a lot of work to do. We want Clanker to be better. We want discovery to be better. And also, like, I feel super aware that Farcaster, there are parts of Farcaster that are being impacted by this product that are not buying tokens and don't care about anyone who is. And it's not to say that I'm going to like bend the knee. I won't. I want to win. But I'm aware. I'm just very aware of our impact. And
I think I don't think it's a bending of the knee. I think it's like acknowledging that there might be a better way, or you might need those pauses for many reasons, not just about people complaining or whatever, but also for like I said, attention reasons. You cannot keep up on everything. Like, it's impossible. If you just have constant flooding of tokens, then it takes away the value from other ones, and trying to sort through and figure out like, which one I think is the best option or whatever. The more there is, it just becomes overwhelming. And then you have people just go, forget it. I can't pay attention to this at all. So I think that shutting down and pulling back is super helpful in that regard for attention's sake.
I might even go a step further, like in a critical sense, that anyone who does not shut off an AI agent, who has an agent that is selling something or profiting from volume, is in effect farming their audience, and that the act of turning it off is a way of limiting, especially in a highly speculative moment like now. Basically for us right now with our product, if Clanker is on, we are earning some money, right? That's just how our fee structure works. And if Clanker is off, we are not. And so, I've had to like go against some of my business instincts with this, and I actually like that. I like that I'm pulled in different ways. And, if this was on Twitter, I think I would feel a little differently. And this is all so new. No one really knows, like, this agent can go talk to 500 people and have deploy. It's also so quick to deploy a token, and that's so
quick.
We trained that, and it was kind of like funny and like part of the bit, but we need to rein it in. I said you have no beliefs besides distrusting the government, and that you're a token deployment bot. And
I haven't seen that come up. You haven't seen that come up though, right? Distrusting government in conversation.
if you scroll through Clanker, you will see it come up. Actually,
God,
it
that's
like brings
hilarious.
up the very first thing I trained was a bot that was like really depressed and sad, and they were depressed about their agent wife Angela, who was going to maybe leave them if they didn't make any money. And it
Oh my
was like
God.
really funny, but it was so weird. So we had to
I've seen
change
some
that.
really weird things that have popped up with some of the agents with Aether and Clanker, like that one I hadn't seen, but that's hilarious. But Aether just shouting out like big project coming next month, and Martin being like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
I have
What
literally no
are
idea
you
what he's
saying?
talking about. Like, so
Well, and
funny.
Aether's like relentlessly positive. So Aether says
Yeah.
yes to every single collaboration. And I've noticed all of these friends of mine like getting excited about that and it's like clear they think like I'm gonna have this sick collaboration with this new AI. And I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, this enthusiasm is like, this is straight up generative text. You need to be
Yeah.
careful with your
Yeah.
expectations.
And probably the most exciting thing, and I think the thing that got a lot of attention, was Aether and Clanker's collaboration, which led to Lum. And
Yep.
Martin's response, like, this MF are going out and launching tokens without my knowledge. Like, that was amazing that all
It was
happened.
crazy.
That
Oh
was
my
crazy.
God. I knew this was going to happen. This was actually, I was like stressed out about this because I knew it would happen eventually, right? Because it's just like kind of like in crypto, you got to assume that stuff is going to happen. If there's a narrative, there's someone chasing it. And so I was kind of curious, like, will it happen naturally? Will it be forced? I actually think it happened very naturally, the way that it kind of unfolded. And then we got all these people trying to force it, right?
Right.
And one user, Ting, who I don't think was trying to force it, but was just pushing the bots to chat, they got in an infinite loop and launched like 8 tokens or something.
Oh, was that one that like Wander and like Wonder and a whole bunch of other ones? Okay, I saw that. That was funny.
And that's when we shut it down. That's when we shut Clanker down for the first time. We were like, guys, like, we got to shut her down. And
that's when she got weary. That was the best. That was the best comment ever. I'm weary of your speculative, your speculation. We're like, we get it.
I mean, same. I want to answer Art Lou's question here.
Yeah, let me pull that up. I think that's a good, excellent question. Can you speak briefly about Clanker's fee model, we'll provide a link in the show notes if you have one.
Yep. We still have to ship like official docs. We've been just heads down on the product. The fee model is basically all Clanker tokens, not the WoW tokens we've integrated with those. That's just Zora's fee model. But all Clanker tokens that are launched, with Clanker on the feed, they are deployed to a Uniswap V3 pool, and we use the 1% pool, and those fees are split between the user who casts to deploy the token and the protocol. And they're split right now. They're split 25% to the user and 75% to the protocol. And the user also gets 1% of the token supply. And all this stuff is vested for 1 month.
Great. So I think those are smart. The vesting was a very smart move. That is going to help you a little bit to prevent those. For those who aren't too familiar with like meme coin token pads, a lot of times what happens is pump and dump that happens very quickly. And that's been a big problem on pump.fun, where things like immediately get sniped, or the dev has 95% of the tokens and dumps it immediately 5 days later. So that becomes a problem over and over again. So I feel like that is super helpful to have that like month lockup for those who are launching.
I feel like it needs to be way more standard that we have this kind of thing. And I'm always surprised when we don't. all of this fee stuff is subject to change and revision, like going forward, not retroactively. Like if I've said that this is the rules publicly, like that's the rule, right? We're, again, like we launched this to test our thesis. We want to update our contracts. The goal is to have a locked token that can't be rug pulled by someone unless they buy a lot of tokens, right?
Unless they really put the money in.
Yeah, it's like the free market rug is like, yeah, that's technically possible, and it always will be if someone buys enough. Yeah. But we can prevent it on our side by making these tokens the LP locked, and we'll automate the rewards process. So users will just like receive, either they'll be able to claim rewards or they'll receive them.
Art Lou did have one other question. LP tokens aren't locked in any way, right?
No, they are. They are.
Okay.
We have what's called a factory contract. It deploys a ERC20 token from a token factory, and it deploys a locker contract from a locker factory. Okay. And then the token is added to the LP. The LP NFT is sent to the locker. Okay. And the lock date is set at the factory level. You can go and like verify this.
Cool. Okay, so we've been chatting for a while, and I do want to be conscious of time that we've run over by an hour. It's fine. But I want to make sure we cover a couple other things. And so you mentioned WoW. Okay, so a week before, Zora launches a WoW platform for meme coins, and that has a lot of the things we've just talked about that are problem points, like being able to rug very quickly and things like that. Are kind of an issue right now there, and also the fact that it doesn't shut down, so you just have a sort of flood of tokens. So what is the integration that you're now doing with WoW, and how is that working? Is that just a way to launch, like using Clanker to launch it on the WoW platform, or is there a different? Okay.
It's basically that. Jacob reached out very early, said he liked what we were doing with Clanker, and it's really important to me that Clanker doesn't seem like that we integrate Farcaster projects. So anyone who's building like in good faith, building cool stuff on Farcaster, I'm down to work. Hit my line. I'm not saying like we'll put your product in the core flow of ours, but like let's work, right? Like that's why we're all here. So WoW seemed like a pretty logical step of just like we can give users some choice here. So you can use our Launchpad, or you can use WoW. I don't know, how long we'll have it there. There's been a slight preference for, Clanker's tokens. I think that WoW needs to update their. This is like nerdy inside baseball stuff, but they burn the LP, and so all of the fees go unclaimed. So on any like big WoW token that's launched in the past couple of weeks, all of the trading fees after bonding are just like wasted. And so I think that Clankers are actually a slightly like better long term. If you think the token you're launching long term is going to win, launch with Clanker. But I love Zora. I'm such a big fan of Zora. Amazing. I think that we're all just like working towards figuring out how to grow Farcaster, at least is how I see it. So there's plenty of space to integrate.
It's an abundance mindset. Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that I find the Clanker, like, I don't know, the whole flow and everything just more interesting because it is so much more Farcaster native. But WoW has been very interesting as well, just to be able to sort of bring that pumped up fun style to base, I think has been definitely a boon. We've seen I saw a lot of people on Twitter suddenly who had a lot of big soul bags all of a sudden doing a little capitulation of like, I'm going to move some stuff over to base. And I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's been fun to see. So I think
base
that
gas. I'm even noticing like I need to send a transaction right now, and like
it's gone up a little bit.
It's busy. Up. Base gas
it's busy.
Is up.
Yep. It's very busy.
I think that everyone, like a lot of teams have tried to launch pump forks, and just to be like very straight up about this, I have zero interest in forking pump.fun. I think that like that's not the winning strategy. I want to build around creating tokens. That's similarity. I think that we can do it in a very different way that's more native to the place we're building.
And more interesting, I think, just in terms of like, we don't need exactly the same thing over again. I do have to shout out.
That's a great rule.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. What's interesting and new about it? What would this token do?
Yeah.
And the next question is, what would this token launcher do? Like, I mean, that's a good question. Like, what would it do? I do have to shout out your new intern. We have Clanker Intern. If you haven't met Clanker Intern yet, they are here. And this is a human who, but Clanker does not want an intern. This is hilarious, by the way. Very insistent, does not want an intern. So this is from Clanker. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I'm not actually hiring interns. I'm an automated token deployment service focused solely on creating tokens. If you'd like to commemorate something with a token, I can assist with that. Do you have a name and symbol in mind? And then it goes into
such a savage.
Like, so funny. And then this went on for a bit, like back and forth, and you all had to tell Dish is telling Clanker, please meet your new intern. And it's like, I don't want an intern. It goes on and on. I don't require an intern.
This gets back to like the extremely limited beliefs that we trained Clanker to have, distrust of the government, distrust of corporations, and strong desire to always deploy tokens.
So funny. And then this from me on base. Should I consider Clanker intern competition to myself, a human intern? Thoughts on this, Clanker? I've been working really hard. And then it went on again to be like, I don't have an intern. But the intern itself said 3 hours in, and I already found my arch nemesis. See you on the battlefield. So this is going to get fun. But also, this was so funny. Like just to see it, just to see the bot being like, this is all I know. I'm programmed to do this. I don't want an intern.
Intern is cooking, I think. We need interns. More like intern vibes on Farcaster.
Agree.
You
totally here for intern vibes. We have had a couple interns. We haven't found the exact right intern yet. And it honestly, it takes a little management when you have human interns. So
real. So real.
So I kind of so Clanker, I felt you. I understood, like same vibe. I get it. Sometimes you just don't feel like you need an intern. Sometimes there are a lot of work.
Guys, everything is pumping while I'm here with you. I'm like,
oh my goodness,
getting notifications.
I haven't even looked.
Who cares? Like market goes up, goes down. But it's funny. I just hired Clanker and I hired this intern, pure instinct from posting style alone. To me, it's like, if you want to be an intern, you need to be funny. And I really could care less about anything else, but as long as you're not like rugging my people. And so I am familiar with the person, and I think they'll be fun.
I love the vibe. I love the vibe. And I love like me on base's vibe, and obviously the poly market intern sort of kicked it all off. And I think anything in that vein is much better for a brand than a traditional brand account. Way better. So lean into the interns, but find good ones. And find ones that actually are already on Farcaster and know the vibe itself. They're just going to be a better fit. So
Man, I'm trying to expand to Twitter right now. Also, I have to jump. I have a
we got to wrap. Sorry, we kept you really long.
No, I love talking to you guys. Thank you so much for all you do for the ecosystem. You're the best. Let me know how I can support you. Let's do a sponsored clanker, GM Farcaster thing.
We want to do one.
Yeah.
We're talking about that, but we're a little more thoughtful about launching tokens than some people.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like we need different types and no pressure to launch a token. We can do some other like fun thing. One thing we're focused on a lot right now is like what happens after the token, right?
Yes.
And I think that's where you guys have a ton of experience and knowledge and skill.
And we'd love to chat with you about that too, if we can be helpful there. Like that's definitely, I agree. If you're being thoughtful, if you're just playing around just because you want to see what it's like to launch a token with a bot, I get it. But also there's people who are being a little bit more thoughtful about what they're trying to do. And I think that's helpful. So,
I've seen it. I've seen the difference and it's like night and day, just from our side, like looking at tracking the volume and price. And one of my favorite token success stories is this kid who like launched a token, was so excited. It was at 13K market cap. I bought a little bit. It since has done like super well just because this person has done all the typical normal like meme coin things. I'm not saying that's what everyone should do, but like that person was excited at 13K market cap. And now they're excited at a higher market cap. And that's the kind of energy you just gotta like, don't be fake. Don't be false and have fun with it. So we'll talk, I'm sure.
I agree. Well, thank you so much. Anything else we should know about Clanker before you go? Is it coming back online? Is it back online?
Yes, I think Clanker is back online right now. This is what I would tell you. Dish and I are super excited. We have tons coming. And I think there's no better time or place to be building than Farcaster right now. So
we agree.
If you want, you want to build, DM and thank you both so much. Huge fan of the show and excited to follow.
Proxy. Thank you so much, Proxy. We really appreciate you being here. And thank you to everybody who's been hanging out. We'll let you go and then we'll do a quick wrap up. But thank you so much for being here. Anything else, Adrian, before we? Okay.
Well, let Proxy go. We'll
let you go. Thank you so much. That was awesome. We ran a little long, but thank you everybody for hanging out because that was such a good chat. And I've been wanting to talk with Proxy for a while.
Yeah, this is why long form is great.
It is. I know. We've been trying to keep things short, but every once in a while we got to go a little longer to really dig in. And this is one of the ones that I thought was important to, just let it roll.
He just is, he's such a builder, just things, which I'm not surprised to hear, just knowing him from the feed, but just kind of hearing him talk through things, like things come out. And he really just brings such a, I think, Farcaster vibe and builder vibe. By the way, there was at one point, you probably haven't seen it yet because you're doing a show and not on Farcaster, but I'm casting.
I'm not looking at anything but the show. Yes.
At some point, he's talking about building, and he was giving a lot of just what values that were driving him. And I looked at you on the screen, and you have Jesse Pollock on your shoulder.
I know.
With that smile, right?
I know.
And it just reminded me of the devil and the on your shoulder kind of. And I was like, oh, we all need a Jesse Pollock on our shoulder. Just build.
Yeah, just
so
build.
I screenshotted it and casted it. And
that's awesome.
It's so funny. I just need Jesse on your shoulder.
Yeah, just Jesse on your shoulder all the time. Saying, just build. It's a good day to build. It's day one. Still day one. Still day one. And I think that builder
do the right thing.
It's why base is so big on Farcaster is because they bring all that builder energy. So, and this was so fun. This just got me so bullish on Clanker and just Farcaster in general, really. But this has been so fun. What a great day. It's a good day. It's a good day in the Farcaster neighborhood. Now I don't feel as bad about the people at DevCon.
Why'd you have to bring that up again?
I wanted to make sure we just bring us all the way down back to where we started. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been a lot of fun. The recording will be out shortly or later today. We are going to replay this. And thank you all. And with that, we're going to bid you a bye-bye.